Good morning. I want to share with you, it's an example of how important it is to mail anything you are going to mail to the SSA, certified return receipt requested, or UPS with tracking, FedEx with tracking. I like the certified mail return receipt requested because you get that green card back that the SSA has to have put their little hands on and signed when they receive the package. It just came up, someone it's not a client, but we're just communicating. And apparently, as far back as March of 2023, he appealed a denial. He did it by mail. He hasn't heard anything since. He checked in to see what's going on, a few months later, and he's told that there was no appeal received. You don't have an appeal. And what normally happens when that occurs is your prior denial, which would have been an initial, I think, in this case, becomes the final word because it was not appealed. And when that happens, you have to file anew, which could mean you lose all those back benefits that would be scrolling off the board with a new application, because a new application now has a new set of 12 months that precede the date of the new application. And those are the only months that if you win and prove you were disabled during those months, excluding any waiting time, the 5-month waiting period, that you were disabled. So it can be a big loss. It's not always a huge loss, but it can be a big loss. So this smart gentleman, I'm so happy to hear this, produced his green card, proof of mailing and or receipts, and presented it to the field office. And it was therefore proven that he had indeed filed, like he said, when he said. So they are now giving him that retroactive appeal date so that he now has appealed within 30 days, even though the denial was back in March. The appeal had to be before, say, April, May, sometime in May, presumably. And they didn't have it, of course. And now he's getting it recognized as having been filed timely, even though they didn't process it timely. So whatever happened to it, this is what I mean, stuff like this can get lost within the walls of the SSA. I mean, they can get lost when you mail them, but in this case, he had the signed document. So if you trust U.S. Postal Service to get it there, if it's certified, registered, return receipt requested, that's great. I've never actually had, I think maybe once, like nearly 20 years ago, something never made it. Fortunately, it wasn't as imperative as an appeal. So, but you could also use, if you think FedEx or UPS or one of the other delivery services are good. I mean, you can also file these things in person, but I always caution against it for my clients, only because now you're walking into the SSA office, eyeballs are upon you. There could be a report of contact where you're potentially described as being able to walk, looking in no distress, able to deal with the public. So really, depending on what your problem is, that may or may not be such a good idea. Now, I'm not so sure when you're dropping something off to get it stamped like an appeal, they're going to put those details on. But I do know for a fact they do it when you perhaps have them appeal for you in there, or for sure when you decide you're going to apply and have a personal interaction while doing so with the SSA. So I don't know. I prefer the paper, the return receipt. I would also add, if you're going to do it in person, you want to bring a duplicate copy of whatever you're submitting to them so they can take one and do what they're going to do with it. And you have a copy of one that is stamped as received by the SSA on XX date, and that goes in your file. And now you have that proof that you presented it to them, the other copy, of course, on whichever date, and that it was timely. So this gentleman, because he was so savvy and sent it certified mail, return receipt requested, now has an appeal that will be in on time, even though the SSA hadn't recorded it that way. And he can go on to presumably his reconsideration battle and try to get that original denial reversed. So that's the gist of that one. Anyway, I think that's really important advice for everybody to always mail with tracking. If you have fax confirmations, that can be helpful too. But for sure, when you're mailing it, you just have to do it. You have to buck up and spend those few extra dollars because it really pays off. All right. I do have another one that another person, not a client, but we're just kind of interacting on things. In a CDR, getting one of his reports in timely, and he sent it certified return receipt, which I had suggested, and it took weeks to get that green card back, but now he has it back, so he has the proof that they got it. So whichever way you skin the cat, you just want to have your proof. Always have your proof that you did what you say you did. So paper trail, paper trail, paper trail. All right. Ciao. Have a good day, guys.